Welcome to All Fired Up Radio.
And I won't be made to ever feel ashamed that I'm American made. I got American heart, got American faith, in America's heart. Go on, raise the flag. I got stars in my eyes. I'm in love with her, and I won't apologize.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to All Fired Up, Military Monday. I'm your host, Betty Kilbride. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is July 30th, 2012. For many people, this is just another day. But to me and a number of others, it is a very solemn day. Because you see, today is a very important day in our lives. Well, at least to me it is. You know, that we, each and every one of us, every day, have those days in our life where we were in one place and we were given tragic news. And as a result of that jolt in our lives, that day, everything that happened around us, we could close our eyes and tell you moment by moment by moment, by action, by gesture, by face, by name, where we were, what we were doing, who we were with. 6 years ago, I was sitting in a hotel conference room, sitting in the back table, right on the aisle, right in the middle of the room. I was monitoring an employer support of the Guard and Reserve seminar, which employer support of the Guard and Reserve, for those who don't know, is an entity under the Department of Defense. I was monitoring this program for the Major General who was in charge of ESGR. I was up in Massachusetts right after I came home from Iraq, and kind of like, unwinding, sticking the toes in the ocean and the sand at the same time, decompressing, getting my head clear, and actually writing a book. Well, my cell phone rang, and the general asked me, hey, you're up in Massachusetts, you got a couple of days, can you go monitor this class? And I said, sure. It was in historical old Sturbridge, Massachusetts area. So since I was only about an hour away, I had no problem with, going by and checking it out for him and give him what's called a situation report. I arrived on Friday afternoon, or really Friday morning, which was the 29th of July, and wound up going through the program on Friday. Everything was cool. Saturday morning, everybody's all happy-go-lucky. Everybody slept really well. And, drinking our coffee, trying to wake up. Everybody's taking their seats. We're ready to rock and roll. Little captain, female captain, walked in, was getting ready to start stuff up in the very front of the room. And then the major walked in, an Army major, who I had known from back here in Washington, D.C. He came in, asked for everyone to settle down, and asked for a moment of silence. Because he had just learned that 4 individuals had given the ultimate sacrifice the day before, on the 29th of July. I waited with bated breath. I remember it as if it was just happened this morning. I sucked in a deep breath, And the major looked me right in the eye from the front of the room and said that it was 4 Marines that were killed in Al-Anbar province. Unbeknownst to me, I screamed. Everyone in the room turned around and looked at me because they were all introduced to me the day before. And were all told that I had just, been in Iraq a few months prior. Knowing that it was Al-Anbar province and it was the Marine Corps, I knew that it was the members of 3rd LAR out of 29 Palms, California. My heart sank. I had a hard time breathing. And when the major finally got finished with his moment of silence and came back towards the back of the room, put his hand on my shoulder, I asked him, who was it? And he said he didn't know. For the next 3 hours, I had to endure sitting quietly. Because, first of all, I'm on the East Coast, and 29 Palms, California is on the West Coast. Therefore, there is a 3-hour time difference. I had to wait a grueling 3 hours for any kind of a break so that I could, in fact, make a phone call to find out if, in fact, 1, it was true, and 2, if whether or not the names could be released. When the break finally came, everybody got up, scurried out the door. I got up, grabbed my cell phone, and headed for the door. Everybody was in the lobby. And all I remember hearing is somebody saying, fire in a hole. Because I was running to that front door to get outside to make sure I got a signal and make a phone call. I called out to 29 Palms, California. Got the first sergeant on the phone. And couldn't tell me anything. Passed me over to the lieutenant. The lieutenant couldn't tell me anything either, because the families had not been advised completely yet. Told them that I would be home, back in Washington, D.C. by Tuesday morning. To please call me at the house or in my office and let me know who. But my cell phone would be on 24 hours a day from now until then. To please, once he got cleared, to let me know who. For the next 2 days, it was pure hell for me, because I didn't know who it was that had been killed. Finally, on Tuesday, exactly at 1300 in the afternoon, my doorbell rang at my apartment. I had literally just drove in, not more than 20 minutes before. My doorbell rang. And when I opened the door, the lieutenant actually was standing on the other side. It turned out that he had flown into Washington, D.C. to give a briefing at Headquarters Marine Corps the day before. And he was due to fly out that afternoon. But he made a point to come by. Ladies and gentlemen, this will tell you how tight the Marine Corps is. And the Marine Corps community and family truly is. When they give information like this, they don't want to do it over the phone. It turned out that the lieutenant came, and he had I guess he must have seen me drive in. But my phone rang a few minutes later, and before he could say a word, I grabbed the phone. Because it was a California number, and of course it was the first sergeant. He asked if whether or not the lieutenant was there, and I said yes. And he proceeded to tell me the names of the fallen. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight this show is all about the fallen and what we do to wind up dedicating our lives to men such as Corporal Philip Bacchus, Lance Corporal Anthony Butterfield, Sergeant Christian Williams, PFC Jason Hansen. Those are the 4 that were killed in action July 29th, 2006. Yesterday was 6 years. And it's ironic because when I was told the names, I literally dropped to my knees. I had just lost it. Thank God the lieutenant was there. And after he had left, I sat there for the next 3 or 4 hours in a total daze, Total shock. Here I was at that point in my life, 46 years old. Why did I come home and they not? To this day, it still bothers me. But then I sit back and I remember, what Butterfield said when he made sure that my body armor was on correctly. Telling me, you got to make sure this is on right. We got to make sure you stay alive. You got to go home. You have to make us all famous in whatever book or project you finalize from this trip. Make sure you spell our names right. Here I am, 5'8", flat foot, looking up at this young guy, well over 6 foot, who's half my age, taking instructions from him to make sure that I stay alive. And unfortunately, it wasn't because of body armor that they lost their lives. It was because of the fact that a truck drove into the compound full of C4 and took out their SWAT hut where they were living. 6 years. I can't believe it has been 6 years since we have lost 4 amazing warriors. There were 4 other individuals who lost their lives during that deployment. The other 3 of them actually didn't lose their lives or give the ultimate sacrifice until August 20th and August 21st, which in actuality was a Humvee accident where the 3 of them were killed. Those 3 individuals, ladies and gentlemen, is Lance Corporal Randy Newman, good old Doc Chadwick Kenyon, and Corporal Adam Galvez. A few weeks later, on September 3rd, Lance Corporal Shane Harris lost his life. For anyone who has read Soul of American Warrior, A Writer's Journey Comes Full Circle, you know that the very beginning of the book, I give out a special tribute in memory of the members of the United States Marine Corps 3rd LAR Battalion who gave the ultimate sacrifice for freedom. The reason why I did that, a lot of people asked why I did that. Because these 8 Marines, along with their brothers, taught this writer how to survive in a combat zone. I wanted to pay tribute to each and every one of them, to remember the fallen brothers that were in a combat zone with me while I was there in 2006, so that everyone will know that I will never forget them. And to this day, I haven't. One of the major things that a lot of people don't know or understand, when a service member is killed in action and that knock on the door comes and the family's lives are tilted and turned upside down, the families don't just crawl into a hole, close their doors, pull down their shades. 99.9% of the families carry on the mission that their son or daughter had begun. They don't go into a combat zone, don't get me wrong. But what happens is they're so close to the men and women that serve with their child or with their husband or their spouse. What they wind up doing is doing special events. Because you see, being a Gold Star family member, Gold Star parent, spouse, or widow, or a Gold Star child, by showing up at an event as a Gold Star member, it's not really supposed to be, about being a celebrity. That's not the way they look at it. They look at it as they are making sure that the memory of their loved one, their service member, 1, is never forgotten. 2, to loan their name to loan their warrior's name to an event to help raise money. This happens every day across America, ladies and gentlemen. Every single day. There is a Gold Star family member out there loaning their name, loaning their presence, most importantly, loaning their smile and their hugs to individuals out there who are still in need of assistance, whether it be a wounded soldier in need of help for helping to get a house built, being in a wheelchair, just having somebody come over and have a mom give them a hug, especially if it's a mom of a fallen brother or sister. It means a lot to them. Now, over this weekend, actually yesterday as a matter of fact, because yesterday was the actual anniversary, I found out about an event that's going on out in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm bringing this paperwork up so I don't screw this up. Yeah, it's very important to me for me to even mention this particular organization and this particular group. Proceeds for this event are going to an organization called Meaningful Memories Charity. It's out in Salt Lake City, Utah. Why is this particular event? Why would I mention anything about Utah? Ladies and gentlemen, this particular event is called the Adam Memorial Ride. Now, for those of you out there that are my fan listeners, you've been listening to me for a long time, you know for a fact I am a big biker chick. Give me a motorcycle, I don't drive it, I'm just the rider. Give me an opportunity to put the helmet on, the boots on, and get on the back of a bike and get on down the road to feel that wind. Oh, God. The bike, between my legs and the open road, the freedom, the adrenaline rush. Not to mention the good-looking honey that I usually have to wind up hugging onto to stay on the bike. I'll do it in a heartbeat. I don't leave home with an American Express card. I leave home with the boots and the helmet every day of my life. They're in my vehicle. Because, as I said, it's a golden opportunity to get on the back of a bike. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for all of those that are Patriot Guard riders, booze fighters, members of Rolling Thunder, members of any motorcycle club out in the Utah area, Salt Lake City specifically, here is your opportunity to get out on a ride, 3.5 hour ride, in memory of a very special man, a very special Marine by the name of Adam Galvez. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam had a great sense of humor. I mean, truly, truly a great sense of humor, great smile, beautiful eyes, beautiful heart, always wanting to make you laugh, always doing funny things. I think he was the class clown, but I don't think so. But I know he was the class clown of the unit. When you're sitting in the hot desert sun and you're being told, come on, hurry up, get over here, get organized, get settled. And then all of a sudden it's, oops, you got to wait. We were joking around and laughing. Me being a civilian, never being deployed before, I can remember hanging out, sitting on the duffel bags with a guy named Hollywood in front of me, laying out in front, just checking out the sun, getting some rays. And the guys all standing around goofing off, and Adam came over to check on us to make sure that me and my bodyguard, Tony, were good to go. And laughing and joking around, saying, hey, you really love this, hurry up and wait. We know you're enjoying the hurry up and wait. Oh, boy, the look on my face probably told everybody around me I wanted to smack every single one of them. You learn about patience when you go to a combat zone when you're a civilian. And I can remember looking back at him, laughing, saying, I'm never going to get anything done over the next, month if all I have to do is hurry up and wait. So, the term hurry up and wait, or, show up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but oh, by the way, we're not leaving until 10. So, but you have to be here for 6 hours and stand on the tar mat with the rest of us to make sure that we're all hanging out right and we're ready to rock and roll as soon as that bus shows up, but it doesn't show up till 10 o'clock because that's what time it was scheduled to show up. So there's a lot of laughs and a lot of joking going on. And that's what I remember the most about Adam, was his smile and his infectious laugh. And just the jokes, the camaraderie. So, like I said, August 18th, mark your calendars, bikers. You don't have to be on a bike. You can be in a regular car. August 18th, 9 a.m. is the kickoff. Be at the Salt Lake Harley dealership at 2928 South State, Salt Lake City. Ride fees, ladies and gentlemen. Riders, $25. Passengers on that bike, $15. Cars, up to 4 people in the car, $45. Now, there will be patches mailed to each and every registrant after the ride is fully completed. There will also be a 50-50 poker run. That will be $5 per hand, $1 per car traded at the end. The goal, ladies and gentlemen, what is this goal, you're probably wondering? Well, it just so happens that this run is actually in memory of Adam and a few others. Let me bring up the quick, fast names here. I've actually been communicating back and forth with one of the organizers who has diligently and so sweetly sent me all the information about this. We've been emailing back and forth since about 11:30 this morning because I wanted to gather up as much information as possible. Okay, it's to honor and thank a hero event is basically what this is. It's the event to actually wind up thanking Corporal Adam Galvez, Chief Warrant Officer 3, Matthew Wagstaff, IT-1, Jared Day. That's got to be a Navy one because I don't have a clue what that rank is. Corporal Rafael Aruda and Staff Sergeant Larry Rogel. These particular 5 individuals are from the Utah area. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that the money that is being raised, their goal, last I heard, I could be wrong, they're looking to raise $7,500. What is that $7,500 for, you might be asking? Well, it is to send 2 wounded soldiers and their families, their wife and their children, 2 of them, to spend a week out at Disneyland. Soup to nuts, covered. Travel fee, food, amusement park, touring, plus the hotel and transportation. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, these wounded warriors, they deserve an opportunity to go to a place called Disneyland with their families because they've had such horrendous upheaval, stress, anxiety with the matter of getting healed, doctor's appointments, being poked and prodded, being in a hospital room, being away from their kids, not being able to enjoy the hugs and the laughter and just kick back and relax and say, hey, let's just have fun. That's what this is all about. It's to send 2 warrior families to Disney World to go enjoy the rides, the camaraderie, the laughter, the smiles, the parades. Have Mickey and Minnie and I pray to God Goofy because Goofy is my favorite. Goofy, make them laugh, make them crack up laughing, make them just smile. Take away all that stress and anxiety. Don't worry about at home. Don't worry about doctors. Don't worry about surgery, skin grafts, pain, anguish, agony, or anything like that. Just go for a week, kick back, relax, Even if it turns out to be just, spend an hour at the hotel pool. Stick a mojito in your hand, let them, do that, and just feel normal again. That's what this is all about. In memory of 5 fallen soldiers, these people in Salt Lake City are doing what they can with this memorial ride to honor Adam, Matthew, Jared, Raphael, and Larry. All of them. These are 5 individuals that are worthy of your support, worthy of being remembered for the heroes that they are. And one of the things that that really touches my heart, like I said in the beginning of the show, these families lost a loved one. They have every right to crawl in a hole and not come out because they lost someone during a battle. But they're not. Instead, they're putting on that smile. They're remembering their loved one. And they're making their loved one's loss count in the lives of others. One of the things that the guys told me just before we, went forward, we were still hanging out in Camp Ripper, which is right next to Ali Al-Salid Airport, which part of the Ali Al-Salid was the Army side of the house, or Army side of the camp. Camp Ripper was strictly 100% Marine Corps. And, we're hanging out. We had just gotten to the fob. And I remember asking the guys while we were hanging out in the duffel bags, sweating our butts off, laying in the sun, frying like an egg in a frying pan. What do I do? What do I say? What do I write? God forbid you give the ultimate sacrifice. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't hear it from one. It was almost as if it was in unison, like it was practiced. What I heard from those Marines, those very special Marines that day, was don't cry for me, don't mourn for me. Celebrate my life. Celebrate my mission. Celebrate my being a United States Marine. I know why I'm here. My mission isn't complete. Those are the words, ladies and gentlemen, that get me through every single day of my life for the last 6 years. Remembering those words. Remembering the looks on their faces, the smile, the amount of admiration they had for each other, the determination in their eyes when they said those words. They were not fearful in any way, shape, or form. They didn't hesitate with their answer. They didn't look at each other before they answered. They just sat up a little straighter and opened up their mouth and looked me right in the eye, each and every one of them, and didn't stutter one word. And this is one of the reasons why I'm proud to do this show, because it gives me the opportunity to tell you, like tonight, about certain individuals so that you can understand who they are. Events like this particular one, the Adam Memorial Ride on August 18th in Salt Lake City. This gives you an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in that area, go. Enjoy it. Get to know the family members, because they will be there. Turn around and go. Show up. Don't be afraid to say, tell me about Adam. What was he like? What kind of sports was he into? Tell me about Matthew. Tell me about Jared. Tell me about Raphael. Tell me about Larry. Let me tell you something. If you get the family members to start telling you about these warriors, You're going to walk away from any event like this with a sense of pride, at the same time, a sense of loss. But you're also going to feel another sensation, one that you probably haven't felt, or maybe you have, in a very long time. It's called a sense of love. And I guarantee, as you're sitting there or standing there or sitting on your bike and listening to who these people are after you ask that question, you'll get such a golden feeling come over you, a warmth that will go through your veins, that will make every hair on your body prickle up. You'll want to sit up straighter. You'll want to throw your shoulders back, put your head up high, and throw that chin out. Because let me tell you something. That feeling that you will get, that will rush through every fiber of your being, will be a small portion of the essence of who these men were. Allow that feeling to take over and wash over your entire body. Because when you do, I'm telling you right now, you're going to get on that ride. You're going to hear Amazing Grace in your head. Because their buddy, Hanson, had the most beautiful voice you've ever heard in your entire life, and knew how to sing Amazing Grace without any music. That's what popped into my head last night, because I kept thinking all day yesterday. So I didn't even look at the calendar for some reason. That's why I didn't realize it. You know, it was something. There's something in the back of my head, something in the back of my neck prickling, that kept telling me there was something I did not do today, meaning yesterday. And it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I finally laid down. I was working all day yesterday on the computer, and I laid down, I closed my eyes, I took a deep breath, and tried to, kind of kick back and relax, and all of a sudden, in the back of my mind, very softly, I started to hear Amazing Grace. And every time I hear that song, Hanson pops into my mind. And my eyes popped open, and I leaned over, kicked my computer real quick with my finger, and I checked the date. I sprung out of bed because I realized at that moment, I just know, now I know what was gnawing at me all day. It was the anniversary. So, Jason, thank you. Appreciate you, giving me that little bit of a soft kick in the head. Because those are the moments, ladies and gentlemen, that are automatically the key. And everybody out there that has ever been in a combat zone has a moment like that, where you're busy, you forget, and all of a sudden kick. And it floods back to you so fast, so furious. And again, you remember exactly where you were when you got that word. The family members, a lot of the family members I've never met. I've only met one. I've met the wife of Corporal Bacchus, Philip. Philip is married to beautiful, beautiful lady by the name of Kathy. Kathy is on my Facebook page. And, we banter back and forth every once in a blue moon. She keeps an eye on me. I keep an eye on her. We know what's going on. But I've actually noticed that Adam's mom is on Facebook. Unfortunately, right now my Facebook is a little too crazy because I got too many people on it. So I can't add her to it, but I get to see what's going on with the Galvez family through Kathy's page. That's how I found out about this event. And I started asking some questions. And I'm glad that I did, because it gives me more of a sense of a pride that I know that the families are doing good. And that's what the most important thing is. They're moving forward. And like I said, they're moving forward. They're not wallowing under a rock. That's what I love about these families so much. They do things in memory of their fallen warrior. Not because they want any kind of accolation or anything like that. They don't do it for that. They do it to help out those that are still in uniform. It's one of the things that I love about our military. It's one of the major things that I love about our military. You know, I know a lot of Gold Star families. A lot, unfortunately. I love it because I know these individual people of who they are. I just hate the idea of how I met them and the reasons why I met them. But I love them dearly anyway, and they know it. You know, every Memorial Day, you've heard me talk about this Memorial Day weekend. I always talk about my Gold Star mamas, my Gold Star mothers, and my Gold Star wives and siblings. You know, my Gold Star mamas are the Vietnam vet mamas, you know, which are getting up there in age. And we're losing a lot of them. And believe me, it breaks my heart every time I lose one of them. But to know that the mothers, the fathers, the siblings of our fallen are still out there, current day ones, smiling, remembering the laughter, remembering the music and the voices, the serenades of Amazing Grace. We were all sitting at Camp Ripper, by the way, on that particular day. And somebody asked me, was I nervous? Was I scared about going forward? And I can remember answering very quickly, saying, no, not worried at all. You know, I'm surrounded by the best, so I had 750 Marines surrounding me, and if they didn't keep me safe, then I don't know who else would. Although my bodyguard was a former Navy SEAL, and he was with me, so that's what he was there for. And I remember Hanson leaning over and saying, "You're nervous. You're just not admitting it." And at that particular moment, I wasn't admitting it. I was a little nervous, but I was also at peace. And that peace was because of the fact I trusted those young men, those young Marines around me. And that's when Hanson decided to sing me Amazing Grace. And I'll never forget that. Never forget that moment. Because it was such a beautiful voice. And again, it was almost as if he left me with that song in the back of my head with only his voice singing it to give me more peace, more solace. As I moved forward, I came home. These 8 individuals didn't. A lot of people ask me why I do what I do. You know, and they thank me for what I do for our veterans. There's no need to thank me, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're a veteran and you wear the uniform. It's not about me. I do what I do in memory of our fallen. I do what I do, especially when it comes to Soul of American Warrior, you know, by donating the royalties, because I made a deal with God when I was in Iraq, for those that don't know. I asked that he safeguard all the Marines around me while I was there. And if he gave me the opportunity to come home in one piece and to safeguard those around me, I'd never take a dime from that book, and I haven't to this day. Royalties are donated to a nonprofit called the Navy SEALs Fund. The money goes to families of our warriors that are injured, goes out to help any way they can. Anyone listening tonight wants to get a copy of that book, go to Father's Press, fatherspress.com, or just type into your browser bar, Soul of American Warrior by Elizabeth Kilbride. Order a copy of the book. The $4 of royalty that I should be getting goes to the Navy SEALs Fund. If by chance you should have a nonprofit out there and you wish to do some kind of a fundraiser and you need to have some kind of understanding, especially if you've read the book already, shoot me a message. Shoot my publisher a message. Tell him that you'd like to use the book as a fundraiser. Have him set up, a code word so that your people can order the book and use the code word so that any of the royalties from those particular books will go directly to you. Do it. I have no problem with that. That's the reason why the book was written. It's my story, but it's also their story. It's my journey, but it's their journey. It was my understanding and my education that they were the teachers. Each and every one of those Marines that I was with taught me more than I could have ever learned back in high school about survival. Trust me, they sent home a very different lady, and I have been different ever since for the last 6 years. God, I can't believe the hour is almost over. See, you get me talking about these warriors that I spend time with, and I can't shut up because they truly were and are my heroes. A lot of people don't understand that. I was telling somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I actually wound up pulling out my only copy of Soul of American Warrior. I mean, this is the galley copy. I've given away every book I've had. But I was explaining to another author about, the author's personal message. In the book, this is what I wrote in the book. Trust is a great responsibility. In a combat zone, trust among those around you helps to keep one another alive. A breach of that trust results in loss of life. When a non-military person travels to a combat zone, they must earn the trust of those around them. Fortunately for me, I earned the trust of those I encountered in Iraq, which afforded me greater access to observe their daily life. To travel with such warriors without any restrictions is a gift that can never be returned, except by not divulging information that might put them, civilians, and coalition forces in harm's way. A lot of my journey into Iraq with these guys was never even put in the book. Maybe one day it'll be put in something else. But it wasn't able to be put into that book. Because if it was, the book would not be like 300 pages. It would wind up being like 1,000. Can't afford to do that, unfortunately. So I want you to seriously think about it, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're out in the Salt Lake City area. Go hang out with them for the day. If you can't make it there, if you're on Facebook, go to the page on Facebook, go into your little browser on the top of Facebook, where you type in somebody's name, and type in the word Adam Memorial. What's going to come up when you do Adam Memorial Ride is an event page. Saturday, August 18, 2012. It's going to give you all the info. If you scroll down, there's an item that Sarah Guggenheim, who's running this page, has just posted up. A signed picture is the first silent auction item that they are bidding out. Bidding is starting at $200. You can only email your bid. All right? What the item is that's being auctioned off is a number 60 out of 300 lithographs that was painted by Alan Sundall. It's an 11 by 14, unframed, signed, numbered, and it comes with certificate of authenticity. I'm sorry, not authority. It's also got a letter that Alan Sundall actually received from Rudy Giuliani with regard to this particular painting. What's the painting? It's actually called In Memory 9/11. It's the American flag in the background with the Twin Towers in disarray, firefighters, police, EMS in the rubble. It's a very powerful, very moving piece of art. The bidding, I said, starts at $200. All proceeds from this auction will go to help to send 2 warriors and their families to Disneyland for the big Thank a Hero event. Okay? That event is 8 months away. We can't wait 8 months to wait until the very last second. Anyone who's traveled knows and understands where you can't wind up putting reservations in at the last moment. This, in fact, will help to build the morale and the energy surrounding these particular warriors who were injured, who need R&R. Think about, going out there and go to the website page, Adams Memorial Run on Facebook. Join forces with Sarah and the rest of her little team. Let's make sure that we wind up raising the appropriate fees for these families. Because, like I told Sarah today, anything that's left over, put it into a kitty for next year. Instead of sending 2 families, send 3. You don't have to only just, do something with the auction. They've actually got a mailing address, which I'll give to you now if you got a pen and paper. The address itself, wait a minute, I just screwed myself up because I just closed off the window. There it goes. The address, in case by chance you wish to send any kind of a donation, is, are you ready? It's going to go to Sarah Guggenheim, Guggenheim. And my address that she gave me is, ready to copy? M as in Mary, 1-3. D as in Delta. L as in Lima. I as in India. Thomas, as in, T as in Thomas. E as in Echo. That's the name of the company. Address is 2591 South, 500 East, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84106. Again, it is Sarah Guggenheim, M13, D as in Delta, Lite. That's the name of the company. 2591 South, 500 East, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84106. Donate whatever you can, ladies and gentlemen. The more we can raise, the more families can actually be sent. It's important. This one's important to me because Adam was one of the guys that was with us over in Iraq. I owe him and the other guys my life. We never got into a situation where those guys had to wind up, doing anything around me because they went to another fob. But their brothers kept me alive. and I owe them, and I owe Adam, and I owe Philip, and I owe Christian and Jason. You know, each and every one of them touched my heart. You know, it's for those that are out there that have been in combat zone and have lost a battle buddy, you know what I'm talking about. When you spend time in the battlefield with a battle-hardened warrior and you hear that they're lost, it touches you no matter what. So, do me a favor. Any bikers out there, do something. Help me out. I know it's Ray. Actually, isn't it around the same time as Sturgis? Why don't you leave Wyoming and go over to Utah for a day? A lot of people out in that area might be going to Sturgis. So I'll tell you what, bikers, if you can't make it there, tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers, tell your friends and family that aren't going to Sturgis that in your space, because you're going to be going to Sturgis and having so much fun without me, ask them if they would please stand in your place or get involved in this memorial run in your honor, in my honor, and ask them to please go have a great day with some families of amazing warriors, as well as, hey, you know, go support our troops. Support the warriors who are wounded, their families who have sacrificed while they were wounded. And this is mainly for the children of those warriors who just need to know that mom and dad are okay. They need to go spend some time as a family, something they haven't done in a very long time because of medical issues. Give these warriors and their families an opportunity to share those laughs, the popcorn, the hot dogs, the cotton candy, the getting sick and throwing up on the rides. You know, the entire experience. Anybody out there? I'm going, oh my gosh, she just had the nerve to say that they're going to throw up off of some kind of a roller coaster. Come on, we've all done it. We've all been kids. I know I have, and I know you probably have too. But then again, there are some sick people out there that probably never got a chance to get really, really nauseous on those rides. But hey, I did. I'm first one to admit it. It's not pretty. So, do me a favor. Go make some things happen, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this show is all about. You got to make sure that you wind up taking action. Getting involved with Adam's memorial ride or any kind of memorial ride in your own community. If you've got a fallen soldier, guess what? If you've got a fallen soldier, someone who gave the ultimate sacrifice, here is your opportunity to set something up in your local in your local area in memory of that fallen warrior. Make it happen. Go do a poker run. Go talk to the VFW, the American Legion, your local biker groups. Trust me, if you want to do something like this, walk into any Harley Davidson. They love helping with this. And I got to definitely give a hat tip. Oh, and a big radio hug out to Salt Lake Harley for taking the lead on this and helping to coordinate this event to help make it happen. I'm going to pray to God that it's a huge success and they achieve their goal of all money that they need. Sarah, if you're listening, a big cyber hug for you, for everything that you're doing to honor and have people remember Adam so that no one will ever forget. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming down to the end of the hour here. Wow, that went by really quick. For all those out there wearing the uniform of the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Merchant Marines, every day that you put that uniform on, you make this humble American extremely proud to be an American. For those in my family wearing the uniform, stationed all around the world, know that Aunt Betty loves you, thinks about you, and prays for you every day. Remember your fallen brothers. March on. Fight to your dying breath in their memory. Watch out for those around you. Don't be complacent. Make me proud. Make your grandfather proud. Because that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about family. Everyone in the military community is a family, regardless of what branch you are. Each and every one of us does what we can to help support, no matter what. Don't allow anyone to take advantage of you as being a member of the military community. Be very watchful. Ask questions. Verify who they are. It's very important that we stick together. Move forward. Move forward with honor, integrity, and make sure that the brotherhood does not get divided by individuals trying to scam them. We can't allow that to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to All Fired Up Military Monday. I'm your host, Betty Kilbride. Until next week, support your troops. Support the men and women who wear the uniform of the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, and even the Merchant Marines. Each and every one of them deserves your respect, your admiration. Forget about what politics says. Forget about what, idiots say. We shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that, we shouldn't support the troops. Don't listen to them. This is America. Patriotism starts at home. Patriotism is in your heart. If it truly is, stand up and be proud of our military. Be proud of those who are wearing the uniform, who truly have the courage and the depth within their heart to go into a combat zone and fight for freedom. They deserve every bit of admiration and respect that we can give them, and this support when they come home, to understand that it's hard to rebuild a life after one has been wounded. It's important that we as Americans do this for them. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to seeing you all next week. In the interim, make sure you follow me on Facebook under Elizabeth Kilbride. It's one L on Kilbride. Elizabeth with a Z. Twitter, @ELIZ Kilbride. You can also follow me over on LinkedIn too if you want, under Elizabeth as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure again this week. Again, this show is dedicated to the 8 Marines of 3rd LAR who lost their lives during the deployment in 2006. Rest in peace, my brothers. Rest in peace. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Military Monday with Betty Kilbride is an All Fired Up Radio original broadcast. Our next live broadcast, Words Matter with Mary Weeks, will air on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. To listen to more All Fired Up Radio podcasts, go to www.allfiredupmedia.com.